ॐ वेदर्षयः समारभ्य वेदान्ताचार्या मध्यमाः योगीरां सुरत्कुमारपर्यन्तं वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां रत्नाकराधौतपतां हिमालयकिरीटिनीं ब्रह्मराजऋषिरत्नाढ्यां वन्दे भारतमातरम्. Salutations and adorations to all the great preceptors of the holy land of Bharatavarsha, right from the Vedic Rishis through the great Vedanta Acharyas to my Diksha Guru Yogiram Surat Kumar Maharaj of Tiruvannamalai. Salutations and adorations to our holy motherland Bharatavarsha, whose sacred feet are washed by three great oceans, whose crown is the mighty Himalayas, and who is adorned with the jewels of Brahma Rishis and Raja Rishis. In the course of our talks on Hindu thought and culture in the VignanaBharati series, we have seen the origin of our Hindu heritage right from the Vedas, coming through the Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas, and we have seen the darshanas, Shad darshanas, and the systems of religious philosophy that have emerged in the course of centuries. And we have also seen about the religious systems, Vaishnavism, Shaivism. Today we are going to deal with Shaktism. The Shakta Sampradaya has its origin right in the Vedas and in the Puranas. The Markandeya Purana consists of Devi Bhagavata, which is the prime scripture for the Shaktas. God is there in many names and forms. The power behind all the gods is supposed to be Mahashakti. The Devi Bhagavata proclaims, Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. Salutations to that Devi who is in the form of Shakti behind all beings, not only the material beings, spiritual beings, she is also the Shakti behind the gods of creation, sustenance and dissolution, Brahma, Vishnu, Shivatmika. She is the power of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. That's what our scriptures say. Worship of the mother, it has a timeless beginning, not only in India, even abroad, even Europe, Mediterranean countries, European countries. Mother has always been glorified. Thackeray, the great writer, he says, God could not be everywhere. God, mother is the name of God on the lips of every child. That's what Thackeray says. And there is a Jewish proverb which says, God could not be everywhere and therefore he created mothers. So, even in the Semitic religion, Father in the heaven is supreme, but he manifests in the form of the mother. The adoration of mother is there. And even we find in Christianity the adoration and worship of Mother Mary, who is the mother of Jesus the Christ. the great Tamil poet, freedom fighter and writer Mahakavi C. Subramanya Bharati, he has written a very wonderful essay, thought-provoking essay in Tamil about mother worship. He has also written in English. Among his English writings, Mahakavi Bharati's most popular writing is Matra Puja or mother worship. There, Mahakavi Bharati says, God the Father is the ideal, God the Mother is the actual. When you say Father in the heaven, it is an imperceivable supreme power about whom you are speaking, Father in the heaven. But the actual God you can see in the form of Mother. He says, God the Father is the ideal, God the Mother is actual. That I am one with the pure being is a spiritual realization. The Advaitic realization that I am one with the Supreme Brahman, it is a spiritual realization. That I am one with the manifested world is an actual everyday experience. But my identity with the Supreme Brahman, it is beyond my senses, beyond my perception, beyond my conception, intellectual conception also. But I see Mother Nature everywhere around me. I am one with Mother Nature. I am one with this world. It is an actual experience that I am experiencing in the world, the motherhood. That I am one with the manifest world is an actual everyday experience. Indeed, ultimately, the ideal is the same as the actual, but we, children of the earth, find the motherhood of God a dearer relation, a sweeter rapport. He says, yes, it is the Supreme Brahman which manifests in the form of Mother Nature, but we are more attached to Mother Nature, the motherhood, which is manifesting in the form of nature. This is what Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati says. Not only our great Indian poets and saints and philosophers have eulogized Shaktism, the adoration and worship of Shakti, even Western writers, philosophers, and research scholars on this mother worship, E.A. Payne, one of them, he is the author of the famous book, The Shaktas. He has written a wonderful book on the Shakta Sampradaya. He says that the highest conception of fatherhood contains within it the mother ideal. And another great writer who did immense research on the Tantra Shastra and brought out a number of books, Shakti and Shakta, Kularnava Tantra, Mahanirvana Tantra, all these books that he has translated into English from Sanskrit original. The Tantric texts have been translated profusely by Sir John Woodroffe, and he says, human experience teaches also that all life is a boon from the womb of woman, from the mother. Therefore, the Indian thinkers from whom Shaktism has originated believed that the highest deity, the supermost creative principle, should be brought nearest to the human mind, not through the word father, but through the word mother. So we have got a dearer rapport with the word mother. Mother is adorned, worshipped more than our attachment to the father. He suspects that in the beginning the goddess everywhere antedated, or at least was predominant over the god. In this connection, he notes that in the Mediterranean Aegean civilization, the male god is said to have been a standing inferior to the mother. So he even points out that in the West, the male god, it was inferior to the mother, and present only to make plain her character as the fruitful womb whence all that spring. Now, what is Shakti? Shakti is the mother force. Sir John Woodruff, in one of his research works, he asked the question, why it may be asked, is God thought of as mother? Why should we think of God as mother instead of father? And he himself answers that question. This question may be countered by another. Why is God called the Father? God is sexless. Of course, he is Nama Rupa Rahita. He has no name, no form, even according to Indian philosophy, our Hindu, our Vedantic philosophy. God is Nama Rupa Rahita, nameless, formless, ultimate reality. So, he has no sex. God is sexless. Divinity is spoken of as mother because it conceives, bears, gives birth to, and nourishes the universe. Just as we are born to a mother, we are nourished and nurtured by the mother, we are brought up by the mother. It is our day-to-day experience. Like that, the entire universe has sprung up from the womb of the Divine Mother Shakti. The universe is sustained by the Shakti, and ultimately the universe merges back into her, and therefore the motherhood of God is superior to that of Father. Regarding the worship of Mother in India, Mahakavi Bharati points out, our ancestors were great apostles in this Mother Shakti. Parashakti, the supreme energy, is the name whereby they knew her. So, all our scriptures speak about Parashakti. Parashakti means the supreme power. The Supreme Mother is worshipped by her devotees from the Himalayas, the abode of snow, up to Kanyakumari in India, the Devi Mother. She is worshipped everywhere. And to the Shakta, God is the Supreme Mother. The Shakta Tantras are the particular repository of mother worship. They explain the ritualistic method of worship of the Mahashakti. Tantra means Tanum Trayate iti Tantraha. That which protects our body, our Sharira, that is Tantra. The Tantras are regarded traditionally as the revelation of the supreme deities, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And where from the Tantras have come, it is said that there is Vaishnava Tantra, Shaiva Tantra and other Tantras. Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva are the originators of the Tantra Shastra. Not only in Hinduism, but offshoot of Hinduism, Buddhism, it also speaks about Buddha Tantra, Tantric Buddhism. So, it originated during the Gupta period and spread to China, Tibet, etc. We will see in another lecture separately on Tantric Buddhism. Sir John Woodruff goes to the extent of saying, he who has not understood Tantra Shaktam has not understood what Hinduism is as it exists today. So, Sir John Woodruff says, if you have to understand Hinduism as it is existing in India today, You have to be thorough with the Tantra Shastra. You must know the Tantra Shastra. And the worship of Mother in India it is as old as our ancient civilization, the Indus Valley civilization. In Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, they have done excavations and there they have found evidence. So it goes back to 3500 BC. Cult of Mother Goddess was very popular in the pre-Vedic days. We find in the Devi Sukta of the Rig Veda Samhita that Vak realized her identity with the Divine Mother. Vak is the name proclaimed by the Vedas. Vak means word, power, word power. So the word is identified with the mother. Everything arises from the word. The supreme Vak, Om, Omkara. That Vak is identified with the Divine Mother. And her greatness is narrated in 40 chapters of the Brahmanda Purana. In the Brahmanda Purana, there are 40 chapters dedicated to proclaim the greatness of the mother. Even earlier, in the Kena Upanishad also, her glory and greatness is proclaimed. It is a beautiful story that we find in the Kena Upanishad. There was war between the Devas and the Asuras, and the Asuras got defeated. The Devas were celebrating their victory over the Asuras. Some sort of egoism cropped up in the bosom of each and every Deva. So Devendra proclaimed that it was because of his commandership that they were able to destroy all the Asuras. Agni proclaimed that it was because of his burning power that they were able to destroy the Asuras. Vayu, the wind god, proclaimed that because of his power to blow up, that the Asuras were blown up helter-skelter and they won the war. Varuna proclaimed that because of his power to flood every place, it was the Asuras defeated. So each one was proclaiming about his own power, prowess, which was the reason for the defeat of the Asuras. So there was some mutual strife between these devas on that count. Suddenly they found a light on the horizon and all of them were startled. Devendra wanted to know what that light is. He asked Agni to go and see what that light is, where from that light has come. And when he approached that light, he heard the sound, "Who are you?" Then Agni proclaimed that I am the god of fire. What is your power? That voice asked. I can burn everything to ashes. That is my power. Then the power from the light, it said, just to see in front of you, there is a dry grass lying there. Can you burn it? Agni laughed and said, nonsense. What do you ask? Whether I can burn this dry grass? It takes no time. But the power said, no, please try. So Agni tried to approach that blade of grass. He was pushed back. He could not even touch that blade of grass. He got defeated and he returned. Devendra was surprised. He asked wind god Vayu to go and see. Similar thing happened. When Vayu went there, he proclaimed himself as the wind god. And then the power told him, you please blow up that blade of grass. But Vayu could not near that blade of grass. He was pushed back. Then Varuna was sent. He said, I can make everything float. This blade of grass is nothing. But he also got defeated and he returned. Then Indra realized his folly. He went there, he prostrated before that light and wanted to know who was behind that light. Suddenly, the Devi appeared, Uma Haimavati, the divine mother, she appeared and she said, you are all talking about your prowess. If I am not there, which God has got power? Gods become powerless without the Shakti behind them. So, Shakti, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, even their power is because of the Shakti. So, this comes in the Kenopanishad, beautiful story. And our Puranas, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, it says that Krishna worshipped Shakti in her Goloka and Shiva worshipped Shakti before his fight with the demon Tripura Dahanam. It was possible only because of Shakti. Brahma, when he was in a fight with Madhu Kaitaba, even there he worshipped Shakti, and the chief of gods, Indra, he was cursed by Durvasa, and to escape from the curse of Durvasa, Indra worshipped Shakti. In the Mahabharata, Krishna advises Arjuna to praise her before that Mahabharata war because Durgam Durgamam Devim Durachar Vihadani, you worship her, then only we can win the Mahabharata war. And according to Devi Mahatmya, she manifested in three significant forms: Mahakali, Mahashakti, and Mahasaraswati, in which she is respectively the concept of Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, the Trinity. Because of this, she unites Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and other religious systems. And there are other religious systems which we spoke of about Ganapatyam and Kaumaram. Ganapati and Kumara are the children of Shakti, and Sauram, Surya Siddhanta, the effulgence of Surya is Mahashakti. So, this Shaktism unites Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Shaktam, Ganapatyam, Kaumaram, and Shauram. Among the Vedic gods, Agneyi, Indrani, Varunani, Bharati, Saraswati, and Ila are mentioned. They are the forms of Shakti. And above them all is Adi Mada, the Supreme Mother, glorified by the Vedas. Mahakavi Bharati identifies Aditi with Parashakti. Vedas speak about Aditi, that one power which is limitless. He identifies it with Parashakti. The infinite power Aditi, Bharati says, is the mother of all gods. All things, all words have come from her. One who wants to be liberated from the bonds of ignorance must take the help of Aditi, says the Vedas. This is what Bharati speaks about Aditi. The Parashakti is the goddess of nature who was worshipped in ancient homes in various names such as Isis, Mari, and Durga. Isis or Isis, Mari, Mahamari in Tamil Nadu, and Durga all over the country. So these are the names of Parashakti. And in our Indian tradition, Hindu tradition, we find that all the great kings and emperors, they glorified their mother, especially because she was the goddess of war. And for victory in the war, they adored and worshipped. We find in the history of all the great kings and emperors, whether the Guptas or Mauryas or Chhatrapati Shivaji, Rana Pratap, all of them were worshippers of the Divine Mother. Now, Shakta Tantras, as I told, is the basic scriptures of proclaiming the greatness of Mahashakti. Though Bharati wrote many poems on all gods, even on Allah and Yeshu, most of his poems, almost all his poems, glorify Parashakti. He was an ardent follower and worshipper of Shakta Tantra and worshipper of Shakti. In his poem, one of his poems, he proclaims that Nanilavattar Mannil Ellam, the people, all the people in all the lands, for their welfare and happiness, she made me sing and she made me dedicate all my poems to her. Kavide Anaitayam Enakalipa, she said, please dedicate all your poems to me. So Bharati's poems are all dedicated to the Divine Mother. And Bharati was especially the worshipper of Bharata Mata. And in the preface of his poems, poetic works, he dedicated all his poems to the Divine Mother, Shakti. He sings, for the welfare of the countrymen, for the upliftment of people of all countries, and for spreading ecstasy through songs. When I approach Goddess Saraswati with the fire of love kindled in me, Mother Parashakti calls me out and demands me to offer all my poems to her. That's why in Bharati's works, poetic works, all are divided. In the preface, he dedicates all his poems to the Divine Mother. In Shaktism also, as seen elsewhere in Hinduism, we find two orders of religion side by side. One is philosophic, universalistic and spiritual, and the other is popular, ideal and magical. According to Monier Williams, another great writer on Shaktism, he says, Shaktism, in the simplest acceptation of the term, is the worship of power of force. Sanskrit Shakti means force, personified as a goddess, with a view to the acquisition of magical and supernatural faculties through her help, or to the destruction of enemies through her cooperation. So, Monier Williams says that Shakti is worshipped to attain magical powers, to achieve things, and to destroy the enemies also. The force of Shakti is invoked. The Tantras, they have got their own peculiar Veda Agama doctrines which are known as Kaula Upanishads. The Tantric Upanishads, they are known as Kaula Upanishads. And sometimes it is called Vamachara, left-hand path. Usually Vedas are considered as Dakshina Marga, followers of the right hand path, but Kaula Tantras are known as Vamachara. Woodruff points out, at present we can say that he who worships the mantra and the tantra of Shakti is a Sakta, and that there were several sampradayas of these worshippers. The Shakti Darshana, it speaks about the various systems, development of the worship of Mahashakti, and amalgamation of different cults which were its ancestors. The Tantra Shastra is according to Arthur Avalon. So John Woodruff is also known as Arthur Avalon. A development of the Karma Kanda promulgated to meet the needs of Kali Yuga. In this age, Kali Yuga, action is stressed for getting liberation. Tantra Shastra outlines an elaborate ritualistic pattern of Shakti worship. And the mantras invoke the Devi Swarupas, forms of female divinities. The doctrine, as I said, of Tantra Shastra is based on the Kaula Upanishads, and the Kaula Upanishad is, as it were, the seed of the Kaula doctrine and form of worship, which is amplified in Kularnava Tantra. That is a very famous work on Tantra Shastra, Kularnava Tantra. Sir John Woodruff has translated that work into English. When Tantricism spread as a popular cult, the symbolic significance of names, we find that in the later days, when Tantricism developed in many parts of India, some sort of tribal influence, culture and tribal beliefs, they crept into it, and we find deterioration in the standards of Shakti worship. It was known as Vamachara, or left-hand path, as we've seen. And there, Matsya, Madhya, Mamsa, Matsya, Mudra, and Maithuna, 5 symbolic forms of worship. Madhya means drinking liquor. Mamsa, eating non-vegetarian food. Matsya, eating fish. Mudra, using symbols. And even Maithuna. Maithuna means intercourse. These were the 5 prominent parts of the Vamachara, or the left-hand path. These people who wanted to acquire power, they practiced all these things. They used to take liquor, they used to take non-vegetarian food, fish, etc. And they used symbols for worship. And in Tamil Nadu, sometimes they speak about Pariyangi Yoga. Pariyangi means cot. Yoga performed on the cot, that is Maithuna. So, these were considered to be tantric methods for attaining power. These wrong beliefs had influence everywhere, all over the country. The Brahmacharya experiment of Mahatma Gandhi, Sardar Patel charged, it was the tantric Maithuna practice that he wanted to practice to acquire power, but Patel condemned it, and afterwards Gandhi had to give up, we find in the history of Gandhi, in the story of Gandhi. So these Vamacharas have been prevalent all over the country in many places because of the deterioration in the standards of tantric worship. Tantra Shastra does not simply mean Shakta Tantra. The latter is only one division of Agama, which has today three main schools: Shakta, Saiva, and Vaishnava. So, the Tantra Shastra, it is not only confined to the worship of the Divine Mother. We have these three Tantras: Shakta Tantras, Saiva Tantras, as Vaishnava Tantra. Tantric does not mean only Shakta. The Shakta Tantra, says Woodruff, is a sadhana shastra of monistic Advaita Vedanta. It is to me a profound and powerful system, and its doctrine of Shakti or divine power is one of the greatest evolved through spiritual intuition by the human mind, which, according to its teaching, is a manifestation of the divine consciousness itself. So, this is what Sir John Woodruff, in his research work on Tantra Shastra, he says, Shakta doctrine, we may first affirm that, is Advaitavada, monism, because Shakti is the ultimate and there is nothing other than Shakti. Enganga Kaninam Shakti Ada, and great poets like Mahakavi Bharati said, there is nothing other than Shakti, everything is Shakti. Mahakavi Bharati points out, even now Shakta religion is alive and strong in Bengal, though in other places the public worship Shakti with the all pomp. There is no separate faith as Shaktism. Of course, in other parts of India, Shakti worship is prevalent, but it is more predominant in Bengal. Kings adored Shakti. Vikramaditya was a worshipper of Mahakali, and in his court, Vikramaditya's court, we find the great poet Kalidasa, who adored and worshipped Mahakali, and because of her grace, he got the powers to write poems. And this mother worship is universal. It is not confined to Hinduism alone. The Divine Mother is the Tara of Tibetan Buddhism. We said that there is Tantric Buddhism. So, in the Tibetan Buddhism or Tantric Buddhism, the goddess is Tara. In Jainism, we find Padmavati, adored and worshipped by Jains. The Babylonian civilization, they were worshippers of Umma. Umma is the name of Uma. And in the archaeological finds, we find the depiction of Umma or Ummi flanked by lions. We always say that Durga is Simhavahini, the Divine Mother. Her vehicle is Simhavahini. And in the Babylonian civilization, the Divine Mother Ummi is flanked by the lions. There are various, and the Greek legend Ommo, O-M-M-O, also speaks about the Divine Mother. In King Havishka's coins, he depicted the form of the Divine Mother. In Byzantine culture also, we find worship of Mother. The Catholics were also impacted by the worship of the Mother. Madonna of Raphael. Dasgabet gives instances from every part of the world to show that the conception of God as the Mother is as natural and ultimate as the conception of Him as the Father. So, in the Babylonians, we find Ishtar, Ashtoreth or Astarte. Babylonians also called her Ishtar. Arabs, even they worshipped the Mother, Al-Lat and Al-Uzza. These were the mother goddesses worshipped by the Arabs. According to E.A. Payne, the author of Shakta. There are traces of the worship in the Old Testament. He says even in the Old Testament you find traces of worship of the Divine Mother, though it seems likely that the texts have been worked over by later hands, anxious to conceal these things as much as possible. But later Christianity, they tried to conceal these facts. Rudolf Otto has noted that from the standpoint of comparative religion, it is very striking and remarkable that the worship of Shakti in India became powerful and forced its way into the higher cult in almost precisely the same centuries as those in which the West, the worship of Panagia, the Theotokos, the Regina Coeli developed. So, in India, from India, this worship of the Divine Mother had spread to many European countries. That's what these European scholars say. And in the case of Mother Mary, we find that conception in Christianity. She is adored as the mother of Jesus the Christ. And Jesus speaks about my mother, the Holy Spirit. Augustine Comte sought to bring back the religion of mother worship. Positivism had banned it, but Augustine Comte tried to bring it back. Now, about the temples, the mother in India. Almost all the existing unique temples of India are centers of mother worship. Right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, we find the temples dedicated to the Divine Mother everywhere. And these temples, they are all called Shakti Pitas. In our Bharata Mata Mandir, on the top of this building, we have installed Sri Chakra, the three-dimensional form of Chakra, Sri Chakra, Mahameru. And in the Mahameru, there are 51 angles. One triangle placed on another triangle, and inside there are so many triangles placed opposite to each other, and there we find the angle points, 51 points. If you take a picture of Sri Chakra, these 51 points, they refer to the 51 Shakti Pitas. Sometime back, when Rostislav Rabakov from the Oriental Institute in Moscow, he was doing research on Hinduism and on our Indian religious worship, etc. He had come to Madras, and I received a call from the Soviet embassy, Soviet consulate in Madras. At the time I was editing Vivekananda Kendra Patrika and Yuva Bharati, or publications of Vivekananda Kendra, and we had brought publication on temples of India and other things. And Rostislav Rabakov wanted to meet me. I received a phone call from the Soviet consulate. I went there. I was surprised. What have I to do with a Russian? Because I considered Russia as a communist country. What has he to do with our religion? What research he is going to do here? Anyway, I went there, and I was surprised and shocked. He said, in Soviet Russia, in Moscow, we are using most modern computers to find out the algorithm of Sri Chakra. Using scientific concepts, they were analyzing the power of the Sri Chakra. I want to know more about that Sri Chakra, what your scriptures speak. I was amazed. And then I explained to him, yes, you see, there is a poem in Hindi, Deha Vishwa hai Atma hai Bharata Mata. Now your science tells that everything originates from atom, and there is a nucleus in the atom. That's the center of the power, and it is atom that manifests into the entire universe. Now, our Indian thinkers, they considered if the whole world is taken as a body, the soul, the spirit, the center, Atma is Bharatavarsha, the motherland, because it is the nucleus of the entire universe. And how to find it? Then I told him, you take a picture of this Sri Chakra, get a picture of Akhanda Bharata, the undivided India of thousands of years back. It was, we had even Afghanistan, Gandhara was part of Bharatavarsha, and Burma, Malaya, all these Ceylon, they were all part and parcel of this Akhanda Bharata. You place this Sri Chakra diagram over the Akhanda Bharata, and with a pin you prick the points, remove the Sri Chakra and look into the map. If you read the names of the places where that pricking has come, you can say that right from Kanyakumari up to Kashmir, Shira Bhavani, it shows all the places, Kanyakumari, Kanji Kamachi, Kashi Visalachi, Kashmir, Shira Bhavani, Kamakya in Assam, all the Shaktipedas are indicated by the points, and that is the power of Shaktatandras. And therefore, in India, the Divine Mother, she is worshipped as Bharata Mata. The Divine Mother is worshipped as Bharata Bhavani. We find in Ujjain, Kalidasa was a great worshipper. Tamil poet Kamban was a great worshipper. And we have the supreme example of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He proclaimed, my Divine Mother is not only formless, she has forms as well. The Mother reveals herself to her devotees in different forms. I saw her yesterday. She was clad in seamless ochre-colored garment and she talked with me. This is what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says. And Mother was worshipped as Tulja Bhavani by Chhatrapati Shivaji. Before going to war, he went to the Tulja Bhavani temple. It is said that Tulja Bhavani offered her sword to Chhatrapati Shivaji for waging his war against the Mughals. And the great modern saint Swami Vivekananda, he was a great worshipper of Kali, the Divine Mother. He wrote his famous work, Hymn to Kali, and he called out, for the next 50 years, let all the gods and goddesses disappear. Let us worship this Virat, this Divine Mother in the form of motherland. So, this was the message of the great saints and sages to adore and worship the Divine Mother. And the great poet Bankimachandra Chatterjee, he burst into his famous song, Vande Mataram, where he proclaimed that this motherland, Sujalam, Sufalam, Maleja, Sitalam, Sasishamalam, Mataram, the land, beautiful gardens, orchards, everything, this beautiful land of ours, Bharata Mata, who is she? Tamahi Durga, the Sapraharanadarini, Kamala, Kamaladala Viharini, Vani Vidya Daini. You are the Divine Mother Durga, Shakti, consort of Shiva, and you are Mahalakshmi, conferrer of wealth, and you are Vani, the mother of goddess, the mother goddess of knowledge and wisdom. And in India, the most important festival that we celebrate for the worship of the mother, it is the festival of the mother, Saradotsava, Vasantotsavam. It is the conjunction or the cessation of rains and the incoming of autumn. That period, it is known as the beginning of the Sharataratu. The worship of Devi is prescribed for worship of it is the most important period for the worship. And we have the Vaishakha Shukla Tritiya, which is also very important worship of the Divine Mother. Mahayogi Aurobindo wrote his hymns to the Divine Mother, glorifying the adoration and worship of the Divine Mother. This Vaishakha Shukla Tritiya, the third day of the bright fortnight of the month of Vaishakha of Vasanta Rutu, according to Hindu calendar, known as Akshaya Tritiya, is a day auspicious for the worship of Bharata Mata. Here in our Bharata Mata Mandir, on that auspicious Akshaya Tritiya day, we find all the mothers coming in front of this mandir. They prepare pongal, rice, and offer it to the Divine Mother here, and they all chant Durga Saptasati, Devi Bhagavatam, and Lalita Sahasranama, etc. So it takes place in this Bharata Mata Mandir also every year during that period. And this concept of worship of motherland in the form of Divine Mother, as I said, it has its Vedic origin, but in the modern period, it was propagated by all great patriots and saints. Swami Vivekananda, VignanaBharati, Swami Ramatirtha, Sister Nivedita. Sister Nivedita, she even presented an introduction to the Divine Mother, Bharata Mata, painted by Abanindranath Tagore, the mother with ochre-clad mother with the book and the corns, etc. in her hand. Beautiful picture of mother was painted by Abanindranath Tagore, and Sister Nivedita wrote an introduction to that. And Mahayogi Aurobindo wanted Bharata Mata temples to be set up in every nook and corner of the country, so that our people, whether Hindu, Muslim, Christian, or whatever be the religious form of worship they have adopted, they must all go back to the worship of Mother Earth, motherland. And therefore, he said, we must have this Matru Puja everywhere, in every part of the country. And he wanted that Bhavani Mandir to be set up everywhere. We are striving for that. Though India attained independence 75 years ago, still the dream of these great Mahatmas, it is yet to be fulfilled. Of course, here and there we have got Bharata Mata Mandir here, and here is the only mandir where we have the worship of the Divine Mother according to tantric rites. The Bharata Mata Pratishtha here is done according to tantric rites. On the Sri Chakra, we have done the Pratishtha of Bharata Mata, and the Abhisheka, Puja, everything, Havan. On the day of consecration, Udupi Pejawar Swamiji had come here. In his presence, when this Havan was done, we found Mother appearing in the fire itself. We have got the picture of that here. And worship of this Mother according to the Upasana Marga, Deshatma Bodh or Desamatrika Puja Paddhati, evolved by Badrish Mahashaya, Vasishtha Ganapati Muni, and other great modern saints. It is practiced here according to that Desamatrika Puja with Bharata Mata Ashtotara. We are performing the puja and everything. So today, the adoration and worship of the Shakti in the form of motherland, that is the one that we advocate, must be spread everywhere, because it unites all religions, it unites all cultures, as we have already seen. And we will see in the next class, before we go into the modern movements which arose after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Raja Ram Mohan Rai, and Devendranath Tagore. They all set up new movements in our Hindu thought and culture, and this tantric system of Buddhism also became very prevalent. We will see it in the next class before we conclude this series of VignanaBharati, from Vedas to the modern schools of thought evolved by great thinkers. We will see in the next class. Vande Mataram, Jai Shri Ram.